Councillor Lewis.
Well, first of all, I'm speaking against the amendment, but if the amendment carries, then I will vote for the motion as amended. Let's very briefly go back to what Councillor Bass said. If this was a privately operated service, the employers, the owners, the operators, the vendors, tap, would have been turned off the day the dispute started. And there would have been an amount of pressure equally placed on both sides of the dispute. On the workers, because they're not getting income, and on the employer, because it's not receiving the sale of its good or service. But we have the very unfortunate and ludicrous, very painful irony here in the GVRD that even though the strike continues, as the sole result, and only because of the intransigence of management at Coast Mountain and at TransLink, in spite of that, TransLink continues to receive roughly 52% of its revenue. Councillor Pule stood up a moment ago and said that for the bus system, the fares cover 48% of the cost. That means that the non-fare box revenue brings in roughly 52%. Well, let me ask Councillor Pule, how much, if any, of that 52% was turned off when the dispute started? How much of that 52% was turned off when you rejected the mediator's special mediated report? The province didn't cut off the gas revenue, the gas levy that goes to TransLink. The hydro amount on the hydro bills, that didn't get cut off. All of your revenue has continued except for the fare box revenue. The fare box revenue was eliminated in its entirety. Of course, there's no buses. There's no fare box revenue. But a majority of your revenue was not cut off. The majority being, to quote your figures, 52%. And every day that seniors remain trapped in their homes, low-income workers lose their jobs, businesses go out of business, TransLink continues to receive 52% of its revenue for the bus system. Now that doesn't make sense. And the beauty about Councillor Bass's motion is that it would put, in a way, TransLink in the same position as a private company. The longer the strike goes on, the more painful it's going to be to TransLink. If TransLink is required to return a little bit of good to the public to make up for the incredible level of pain and suffering that it has caused the public, maybe there'll be a bit of motivation to accept the special mediator's report and get the buses rolling again. Now, one last point. Councillor Pule says that the mediator says that TransLink is not the employer. Coast Mountain is. Fair enough. Fair enough. Why then, sir, are you applying to the British Columbia Supreme Court for an order forbidding, barring the Labour Relations Board from answering that very question? The Labour Relations Board, Your Worship, I believe that those that are somewhat older, although perhaps not any wiser, would like to speak ahead of me. I'm delighted to let them speak, and as soon as they've finished, May I please begin again?
We had a motion from Councillor Bass and we had an amendment to the motion. We're talking about the amendment. We're rehashing the whole strike, and that I think is going to go on right up till 7:30, and then you'll decide at 7:30 whether you'll hold the public, for the continuance of the public meeting and go on till whatever, however you're going on to, or not. You've got to speak to the amendment to Councillor Bass's motion, but if you want to carry on with a lot of other things that aren't germane to the issue we have now, which we have to deal with because we're under a little bit of time pressure. It's now 20 after 6. I'm going to have to make some chair's ruling here that we stick right to the amendment to Councillor Bass's motion.
Your Worship, I'd be
Okay,
delighted.
that's just the wording here at the bottom of this is it. That's what we want to vote on, hopefully in the next minute or two.
Your Worship, I'd be delighted to have you rule firmly that the debate must be kept strictly to the item that we're discussing. I'd be delighted to hear you say, when Councillor Bass proposes free bus fares, I'd be delighted to hear you say to Councillor Puel, referring to the Special Mediators Report is out of order because we're not talking about the Special Mediators Report today. We're not talking about whether or not TransLink is the common employer. We're talking about Councillor Bass's motion to provide free public transit. But Your Worship, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And if Councillor Puel can use Councillor Bass's motion as an opportunity to talk about the issue of the common employer, then perhaps I might be entitled to the same opportunity. And lo and behold, if all of us, the remaining councillors here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 of us, go without dinner tonight because we're debating transit, then we'll have suffered one minutia of the medicine, the painful medicine, that TransLink has dished out to the thousands of residents in our city that have no bus service. I'm quite prepared and quite happy to go without dinner tonight. If I need to go without dinner, to put the public first. It's 20 after 6 right now. I don't mind if we're here till 7:30. But I'm not going to stay here till 7:30 talking. I'm going to wrap up in 1 minute. The point is this: why is TransLink applying to the court for an order prohibiting the Labour Relations Board from ruling on this very issue? Your Worship, if we approve Councillor Bass's motion without the amendment, we're going to be sending a clear message to TransLink. And the message will be this: you should not benefit from the pain and the suffering that you're inflicting needlessly on the citizens of the Greater Vancouver Regional District.
Okay, thank you. I'm ruling that the last speaker is Councillor Clark, and then I'm calling the vote. I'm not going to entertain any other speakers.
Your Worship,
Period.
I'm not going to try to rebut this because it'll provoke a flurry of responses, so I would call the question on the amendment.
Okay. The amendment.
The amendment is to eliminate whereas 2, 3, 4, and 5, which has therefore the motion reading, whereas under law, TransLink has a responsibility to provide a regional transportation that moves people and goods, and whereas when the strike is settled, there will need to be an incentive to encourage citizens to return to the use of public transit. Therefore, be it resolved, the Vancouver City Council recommend in principle to the Board of TransLink that some free bus service be provided to the public as affordable at the end of the strike.
Okay. Question on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment? Contrary? It passes with Councillor Lewis and Bass opposed. All in favor of the motion? Contrary? Carries unanimously. Any other inquiries and other matters? We put them off till Thursday? Can we do them Thursday?
Real fast.
Well, it's... Frank?